It sounds like Henry Cejudo still isn't going to be getting a title fight anytime soon, but Dana White is at least willing to point him in the right direction on how to change that. Cejudo, who has been calling for a fight with featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski for the better part of a year, renewed those calls earlier this month when Max Holloway was forced out of a scheduled bout against Volkanovski due to injury. However, White dismissed the whole thing as a fucking silly conversation. Cejudo did not agree, and has since taken continuous shots at the UFC and Dana White over their refusal to even consider the fight. But for all his bluster and public posturing, White says that Cejudo has not taken any real steps towards actually making the fight a possibility, primarily actually talking to UFC matchmakers and getting back into the USADA testing pool. White said the following: "The thing is, Cejudo is retired. There's a way to go about it if you really want to fight. If that's what you really want to do, you want the Volkanovski fight. You can go online and start talking to Volkanovski and calling him names and all this stuff. But what you'd really have to do is pick up the phone and call and say, 'Hey, what's the procedure I need to follow to get back into a fight? I want to unretire, so when can I get back into the USADA pool? How fast and what do I need to do?' That's how you get a fight." His manager, Ali Abdelaziz, has 280,000 fighters under contract in the UFC. Cejudo's been here forever. If you really want to fight, get down here and make some calls and say, "Hey, what do I need to do to get back in to fight? I want to jump back in." That's how you do it. You don't call people out and call them names on Twitter and then expect we're gonna pick up the phone and go, "Hey, we've got a fight for you." During a recent episode of his podcast, Brendan Schaub reacted to Dana White's response to Henry Cejudo asking for a title shot. He said the following: "I don't think Dana has the ability to admit when he makes a mistake. When he said, 'This isn't what the UFC do, we don't let people retire and then come back and get a title shot, etc.' Well, GSP did it. So don't say you don't do it. Just come out and say you learned from the GSP mistake. If he doesn't defend his belt, it's a problem. You're just not a Henry Cejudo fan, or you don't want to pay him. It would be so refreshing to hear him just say, 'It probably wouldn't be good for the UFC.' That's it. Then the fans will get it. I just don't know why he can't be real. Saying it isn't what the UFC do just isn't true. And when Dana called it a silly conversation, why have you got to disrespect those guys? It's not silly. It's the only fight that we want to see. Just be cool, man." Like many of us, Chael Sonnen was surprised to learn that Amanda Nunes made the decision to cut ties with her longtime gym, ATT. On Monday, it was announced that Nunes was leaving her longtime home of American Top Team in order to create and establish her own gym endeavor. According to the report, Nunes, along with her partner, are both parting ways with the American Top Team facility with the intent of forming their own gym in Florida. For former UFC title challenger Chael Sonnen, the decision of Nunes to leave ATT leads him to believe there is more to the story. He said the following: "Do we need to make anything of this? I don't know. That's how I have to word this to you guys. I am speaking way out of school, and I have no more information. So I don't want to influence you guys, because my comments are based on the headline of an article about her leaving her gym. But when an athlete gets beat, we see this all the time, where it wasn't their fault, it was someone else's. It wasn't my fault. I need a new start. Is any of this going on here? No, not that I have evidence of. But it does make me beg one question. Had she won the fight, was she going to leave American Top Team anyway? We have to look into it a little bit. It is very peculiar though. When you go to open your own gym, you're looking to expand your business and build your empire, so you have something to retire on. But if you're Amanda Nunes and your pockets are lined, she's still the champion of the world. She's just got one belt instead of two. Her next fight is still going to be a world championship fight. She's just going to be the contender instead of the defender. Amanda Nunes does not need your $100 per month sign-up fee. So what is she doing? I don't know. So business-wise, this is a peculiar situation, which leads me to believe that this is personal. that she feels something happened or she was neglected. Ciryl Gane is well aware of Francis Ngannou's power due to the time they spent training with one another. Gane and Ngannou used to train with each other years ago, and during that time, the Frenchman says he remembers the power of the champ. He also says he enters every fight knowing he can get knocked out, so nothing changes in preparation to face Ngannou. I remember his power. We have no surprises. You have a guy like me, good footwork and technical. Then you have a guy like him who is stronger and powerful. This is a game for me. This is a game. That is why I'm not afraid. If I lose and he knocks me down, every time I go in the cage, I know I can win the fight, but I also have to be aware that I can get knocked out. He knows how to use his power. That is why he is really dangerous and is confident with his power. My first problem will be to manage the distance. I started MMA about 4 years ago. My plan was to manage the distance to escape the wrestling game, the ground game, everything. Today, that is my strength, and that will help me against Francis. Ultimately, Gane is confident he has all the tools to defeat Ngannou, and he hopes he can become the first person to finish the champ.